All right, welcome to episode number 3 of Fueling Success: An Athlete Story, where we talk with Division One and professional athletes about their stories and what they did to get to that level. Our guest today is Makenzie Steele, a sophomore on the women's track and cross country team at Clemson University. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Of course, of course. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So, my name is Makenzie, as Derek said, and I'm currently a sophomore and I'm studying finance at Clemson. And I started running my junior year of high school. Beforehand, I did soccer. And so, playing a sport in college never really crossed my mind. But like my training partners at high school, they started looking at colleges. So then I was like, maybe I can too. And so, then one thing led to another, and now I'm here today. So, really excited.
Awesome. Also, yeah, again, thank you for coming on. So I know we did an Instagram live a few months ago, and that went really well. So obviously a really interesting story. I remember talking about how you played soccer up until, like, what did you say, junior year of high school, right? And then switched over to cross country, and I found that really fascinating. So actually, do you want to talk about that a little bit more? Like, what made you decide to make that change, and obviously how you progressed so quickly with it?
Um, I think so. I was a center mid whenever I did play soccer, so I think that kind of helped.
Oh,
Like,
big
I
time.
wasn't down in the middle all the time, so that definitely was a factor. But I did travel soccer and school soccer, and that year I decided I didn't really want to do travel soccer anymore. So I was like, I'll just do cross country to stay in shape for soccer in the spring. I feel like that's how it all starts with everyone.
Yep.
And so then we ended up like winning states that cross country season. It was like the first time our school ever, like the girls team ever won states. And I was a fifth runner and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And so then I was like, okay, I guess I'll start track. And so I did indoor track. That was a bunch of fun. And then COVID happened. So the spring soccer ended up getting canceled. But
Right.
then I just enjoyed running a lot more and I just enjoyed going to practice. I always looked forward to going to practice and
Okay.
yeah, it was kind of, I don't want to say it was an easy decision because I'd been playing soccer since I was in, I think, kindergarten. So it was hard, but I'm glad I made the switch.
It's crazy how much has gone on like since COVID started. Because I think, like, I'm a grown adult, so like I've just had my business and it's grown over the 3 years of COVID. But for someone like you who's so young when this started, you were a high school soccer player when COVID started, and now you're a sophomore on a D1 cross country team with
I know.
an amazing following on Instagram, a new deal with Under Armour. Like, it's crazy how much has gone on in the last 3 years for you. And
Yeah.
it's just crazy to think about that. But no, that's really cool because yeah, I'm not the only person actually that I know that's played soccer and then gone on to play run D1 cross country. Actually, we have someone coming on in a few weeks that had the same story, except she actually went to college for soccer and then switched to cross country. So it's interesting. And so you're basically saying, like, yeah, you just kind of fell in love with running, right?
Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And especially the running community.
Yeah.
I just had no idea how I don't want to say cult, but like it's you don't really understand running until you're in it, and it's really
I
fun.
can attest to
So
that because, yeah, a couple months ago, right, I made the decision that I'm going to become a runner, and I hated running all my life, and then all of a sudden, I just loved it, and there's very little time in the middle, like between
yeah,
that progression, right, and just fell in love with running, and I'm like, hey, let's do half marathon this year, and I had a good idea about the running community just because a lot of my followers and a lot of my clients are runners, so I'm like, you guys are just different than all other athletes. Not just the way you work out, but literally your personalities and just the way you are as people. It's
yeah,
just, yeah, it's just a great community. And when I made my post saying I'm gonna start running, got a lot of love, got a lot of positive comments, and I got a lot of help when I was talking about things like the running shoes and things like that. And just, yeah, I could see why, yeah, you love that change because it's just incredible. Like, the tight knit community. And every community is like that, right? Like the fitness community is tight and all that, but I feel like there's a lot more judgment in the fitness community, and there's a lot more ego and competition of like, oh, I can lift heavier than you, or I look bigger than you. But there's not in the running community. It's not, oh, you only run a 9 minute mile, or you only run a 10 minute mile. It's no, you're running, and
hmm
hey, you're a
yeah,
runner with me. I think that's pretty awesome. So That's definitely interesting. And you talk about how you played soccer, obviously growing up. Did you play any other sports as well?
No, I was a full soccer player, so
Okay.
that's what was kind of crazy. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try running.
Yeah.
So
So you were committed to soccer playing year round. Like, was your goal to play D1 soccer?
no, I'd
Okay.
never thought about playing a college sport. I wasn't that good at soccer. So I think that also kind of contributed because I was like better at running than I was at soccer. So that was definitely a factor, I guess. But yeah, playing a sport in college like never crossed my mind.
That's
So
unreal.
it was so crazy when it happened. So
That's unreal. Because we have all these different stories, and we have, I've talked about how all these athletes are getting recruited like freshman, sophomore year of high school. Like that's when you have to start with all these showcases. And even I have clients that are starting in eighth grade with like AAU tournaments and baseball showcases, and like they decide at that moment, and you're heading into junior year of high school, never thinking about playing a college sport, and then 2 years later, you're on campus
yeah.
at a Power Five school. So it just goes
Yeah.
to show everyone listening out there, right? It's great to start young and try to get your name out there early. But if you're heading into junior or even senior year of high school and you don't have any offers yet, you haven't contacted coaches yet, don't worry because look what can happen, right? It can happen in the blink of an
I
eye.
didn't even I didn't even like commit, I guess. I mean, I'm a walk on, so it's a little bit different with
Still
that
though,
stuff. But once you're here, like everyone's the same. And it's fun talking with my other teammates and seeing how they got to, because we're all at the same spot now,
yeah.
and seeing how they got here. And I tell that a lot to a lot of young girls. I think I can see the demographics, and it's a lot of generally high school girls that follow my account. And I'll get messages like, what were your times freshman year of high school? I'm like, I didn't even run. I was
Yeah.
like, literally, like, just don't worry about it. It'll all fall into place. I mean, I didn't commit. I think it was like May, my senior year. So I
Hmm.
was kind of more in the late end, but
Yeah.
it'll all come into place.
Hmm.
So I tell people not to stress about times and just focus on competing for your high school in that moment. Because once you start throwing in like, oh, I need to get this time,
Yeah.
I need to run this event, and it's just stresses you out.
For
So
sure. So are you a walk on or preferred walk on?
what's the difference?
So, all right, yeah, good question. So, preferred walk on is basically like in high school, the Clemson coach contacting you, be like, "Hey, I want you to run here, but we can't give you a scholarship." Whereas walk on is you get to campus and then you try out for the team.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm preferred because we were emailing back and
Right,
forth.
you were recruited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
a better way to put it. Is preferred walk on is recruited, but they didn't have a spot to give you a scholarship or anything like that. But yeah, whereas like walk on's like an open tryout, like, hey, go in here. So like you decided Clemson and you knew you were gonna be a runner there. So yeah.
yeah, I like got applied and got into the school, and then whenever I emailed the coach, I was like, "All right, I'm coming to Clemson,
Oh,
whether I'm
okay.
on the team or not." And she was like, "Okay, you can have the walk on spot." And I was like, "Sweet."
Got it. Okay, so definitely an interesting story. And again, there's with recruiting, especially for those who don't know a ton about it, it the stereotype is that yeah, you're going to go to these tournaments and coaches are going to reach out to you, or you have to email coaches and send them your film, and you have to get recruited to that school, and then you go. And that's how most of it works, especially in the bigger sports. But that's not the only way. And if you're committed to play a sport in college, there's many ways to go about it. Never give up because it's you could literally apply to the school academically and then decide, hey, I'm going to be an athlete here, and it just works out, which is pretty good. And obviously, starting that running at a late time in high school, you picked it up quickly, you got your name out there quickly. What do you think? Maybe especially as a junior in high school, is there anything you did nutritionally that helped you like stand out, or maybe helped you really increase your performance in high school, or anything in college that you've noticed you've done?
During high school, I feel like in the beginning, I didn't really over or like think about nutrition a lot because I was just doing it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But once that's following spring is whenever like COVID happened, so everything was canceled. And that's kind of when I started picking up mileage and stuff. And I think, especially with running, you just like do not realize how much snacks you need, or just like how much more food you need on your plate. And so I think towards the end of quarantine is kind of when I started my food account, and I didn't realize how many other running food accounts there was out there. I thought I was being so unique. There's
Yeah.
a bunch. But then I started following these other accounts and they were speaking about these things of like certain foods and needing like don't be afraid to eat this many carbs and stuff because that's all you've been told is like, oh, carbs are bad, but like you just gotta keep on loading up your plate. And I feel like once I paid more attention to nutrition and just like making sure I'm eating a lot is, I guess, when I was able to continue progressing instead of just kind of staying at the same spot in high school.
Hmm. No, that's obviously very insightful, and actually a good question for you. With between your presence on social media, and then I know obviously you follow my account. I know you follow other sports dietitians. Do you have any advice for runners out there on how to navigate the nutrition information on social media? Because there's obviously a lot of information out there, some good, some bad, and even a lot of the good information isn't going to be good for athletes. So, what advice you have on just navigating through that as a young athlete?
I guess I would say to take everything with a grain of salt that you see on social media because what works for me is something that is totally different from what my teammates do and it's best for them. And so I guess take what you see on social media, whatever platform it is, more as like inspiration instead of like a cold hard, you need to do this and eat this much and whatever they're saying. Just kind of I try to, if I do like a what I eat in a day video, I try to be like, this is what I like to do as ideas for snacks, meals, but in this combination, like this is what works for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that you should do like these exact meals and you're gonna like do the same whatever as I
Yeah.
do.
No.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's really good advice because I see a lot of what I eat in a day videos, and I'm not a big fan of them. I know a lot of other dietitians aren't either, because for a young viewer they look at that and be like, oh, I want to look like this person, or I want to run like that person, so I need to eat like that. And I've had clients actually that before working with me, they're like, oh, I eat 6,000 calories a day. I'm like, you don't need that many calories, but it's because they saw this 220-pound bodybuilder and that's how they were
Yeah.
eating, so they thought that's how to eat, and it ends up hurting your performance or hurts your goals because it it's not how you need to eat. And like I said, it's what works for you. And I love that you put that disclaimer in there because I could see when you're young and if you're not sure what to do or you're really desperate for results, you'll follow what you see, what looks good or what a really good athlete is doing. And it can get dangerous. And that's why, I'm hesitant to even make those videos on my own. Like, I don't want people to eat like me because I'm not working out as much as a lot of elite athletes. So, like, I don't want you to underfuel or anything like that. And yeah, it can get tricky because it's valuable, but it can also be harmful. So it's all about sorting through that information, I guess. So yeah,
Hmm. I
but
know
yeah,
I've asked before, like on my stories, I've tried to do the poll thing to be like, all right, do you guys like these videos or not? Because I get like some mixed opinions. Some
I
people are
really,
like, oh, I don't really think those are a great thing to do. But then the majority of the time, because I would consider myself a very snacky person. And I
yeah,
think
I've
people,
seen that, which is good.
and so I've had a lot of people, because I stopped posting them for a while just because I wasn't sure. And then I like asked the question, they were like, oh my gosh, I used to love your videos. They would help me so much, especially like during recovering from my eating disorder. Like I really look up to your
Oh, that's
videos. So I was like,
awesome.
oh, well, that makes me feel better. So I've kind of started making them again, and it's kind of fun. So
Hmm.
because it forces me to like actually make a better meal sometimes
Oh,
because
really?
not everything you see on social media is my everyday. So
Which is awesome. Yeah, it's very. I could tell that, and it's very transparent. And like, even the way you wake up, or you're like, "Hey, this is when we're in a class, and this is my schedule today." Like, it's very
Mhm.
influencer like, but like in a good way, right? I feel like influencers get a bad rap, but like the way you do
Yeah.
it is very because you have a niche. I feel like a lot, not to call anyone out, but like I feel like a lot of influencers be like, "Oh, hey, here's my day. Like, here's my workout class, or this is what I'm eating," and it's very standard, right? And it's maybe a typical day, but high lifestyle. Whereas yours is very unique and very niche, and it's valuable because like this is what it's like to be a student athlete. You're actually that's one of the things I did want to ask, so we can roll right into that. What does a typical day look like for you as a D1 runner?
So it depends on when our practice time is, but
Of
I'll
course.
just go through today.
Yeah, that's the thing. No 2 days are ever the
Yeah,
same, which is even
nope.
crazier and even more difficult.
Yeah, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like on a typical week without a meet is usually our workout days, but like today we did not have a workout, but usually Mondays, our practice starts at 7 a.m. and we'll have our track workout. And then that lasts anywhere like 2-ish hours by the time we like warm up, cool down and stuff. And then 9:30 is whenever we have like weights after. And so we run up to the locker room, change, have weights from 9:30 to 10:30. And then my class, I have one at 11:15, and then I have another one at 12:20. And so I go straight from weights, like shower, have another little snack, go to class, go straight to my next class. It's like a 15-minute window.
Jeez.
And then at 1:10, I'm done with like classes and practice and stuff. So then I can do things like this, do homework,
There you go.
maybe go to the library, maybe come back and take a nap.
Yeah, it's hectic. I bet it's crazy, and I mean, I just admire all you D1 athletes because it's just I don't know how you do it all. And I thought I was busy in college because I had a hard major, I was very busy, but I wasn't doing sports. I didn't work out as regularly as I'd like to because I thought I didn't have time. And obviously now I'm seeing it was just very poor time management. I was getting distracted by other things, but like you're going to class full time, right? You're working out as an athlete and then you're essentially working on top of that because all the stuff you do on social media, whether even just sharing your own story. I know you have a lot of brand deals as well, which people just see like, oh, you're just posting a story, but there's a lot more work behind
Oh,
doing those brand deals.
takes so
It's
much time.
the emailing back and forth. Like I do it probably not as frequently as you do, but like just the emailing back and forth is so hectic and takes up so much time, and it's just incredible how you're able to balance all that. And I talked about this on another episode. I feel like one reason a lot of athletes basically fail and maybe don't make it to as high of a level as they could is because of either maturity or time management, and they can't handle it all. So what tips do you have to for any young athletes out there that to help them with time management and get everything in so they don't fail like other athletes have?
Well, thank you. I honestly don't know how I do it either.
Okay.
But my biggest thing is mine. I talk about it all the time. Like just the notes app on my phone. Like
Okay.
I have everything on my notes app. If it's not on my notes, like it's not happening. So
Okay.
I like to have one note that has like every day of the week, and I put everything down. So that helps a ton. Just writing things out, whether that be in an agenda or whatever you prefer. That's definitely my biggest thing. Sadly, I hate to say it, but I'm a big procrastinator. But on the times when I don't procrastinate, it makes me feel so much better. Just like, especially like using any free time you have, even if it's just like 20 minutes, try to like knock out an assignment or send an email or whatever. So, yeah, any free time moments, use that to cross things off your list and you'll get it done eventually.
No, that's good. And sometimes it's like when you're so busy, at least I found this like when you're so busy, it's actually easier to get everything done because you don't have time to waste, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't just scroll for an hour on social media unless you plan for that.
Yeah.
So that obviously helps as well. And I mean, do you ever find that like because since you're posting so much on social media, do you ever find like, oh, you posted a story and then you're just kind of mindlessly scrolling through your feed, or are you disciplined with that?
Yeah. I try to create more than consume, but yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely fall in the trap of scrolling too frequently than I like to admit, but
No,
I feel like we all do. So,
I'm the same way. I'm the same way, and especially because with TikTok, it's like you can't close out the app until your video is done uploading. So you're basically
oh,
forced to scroll through the
yeah.
feed until a video uploads, and then you realize, oh wow, my video uploaded 5 minutes ago. What am I doing
Yeah.
here? So it
And like
gets
same with Instagram Reels, like when you try to find the trending sound, I'm like, oh, I gotta scroll through the reels to find these sounds, and
so I don't do the sounds on Reels
um,
because I'm not as good with the influencer stuff. But yeah, my all my posts are scheduled because it's just this way I can stay consistent with it. And I just kind of reuse like the videos from TikTok. So it's all scheduled through later.com. So like, so I don't do the trending audios, which maybe I should start doing that. Maybe that'll help. But
Uh,
it saves a bunch of time scheduling the post out for sure.
I
Um,
might need to start doing that.
yeah,
Instagram, I think, like recently did that for Reels.
yeah. Since the summer, I started. I think I started doing it over the summer. Um, or I was
Oh,
using Buffer for that as well. I was using kind of both at the same time. But yeah, no, it's been recent, and you can also schedule TikToks now too with later. Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
wow. Doing a
it's a
lot
game
today.
changer. It is a game changer. Yeah, I think I have like the minimum paid version, so it's like I get like 60 posts a month on each platform. I don't know. I forget what the free version was. It might be like 20 or 30.
Let's see.
But yeah, no, it's a saver for sure. Um, cool. All right, so we kind of touched on this already, but just anything else like, is there any non-nutrition piece of advice that you would give to any athletes out there, or anything you'd like to pass on?
I feel like, hmm, I guess my best non-nutrition is to not worry about little things, like don't stress about or overthink things. Even like you can relate that to nutrition and sports, but I feel like you can apply that to all areas because I'm definitely a stressor and I'm like, don't worry about it till it happens. Everything will be fine. And yeah, I think that's my
No,
top thing. But then also, like, it's so cliche, but time really does fly. And so try to like be present. Don't go on your phone when you're with your friends. Like enjoy those
that's good. Yeah.
little outings with your friends. Like just say yes to fun things like going getting ice cream or just going on a walk and like really try to enjoy those little times because like we're like this weekend is our last indoor meet. I'm like,
Mm,
holy cow, like we're already at spring track and it's
yeah.
coming up. And it's just crazy because I feel like summer just ended. So like yeah, be present, enjoy the little stuff, and
It goes by quick for sure.
don't worry about little things.
Yeah. No, that's good. And, especially with obviously not worrying about little things is big, and that can be for life. It could be for sports. So with that said, like, is there any valuable lesson that your sport has taught you about life in general that you'd like to share?
I think people say this all the time in running, but enjoy the process. Things will not happen overnight. Like you're not gonna. Well, I mean, I guess you could, but it's a really rare occurrence if you just shave off a minute PR or something. So just enjoy like going to practice and be patient is a big thing that I even have to tell myself still, even if workouts are going well. I think it's actually the work with running. When you do a workout, you don't actually get the benefits aerobically. I could totally be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but I think you don't get the benefits until like 2 weeks later.
It takes
I
it builds up
think
over
I heard
time.
that.
Yeah, like you're
Yeah,
not gonna. Yeah, one workout's not gonna make you
yeah,
automatically better, and that's actually really important because the opposite is true as well. If you miss a workout, or if you miss even 3 or 4 days of workouts, you're not you're not going to drastically drop in performance. And a lot of athletes are afraid to even take an off day each week. They're like, oh, if I do nothing today, I'm getting worse. No, you're actually getting better with that off day. That's another
yeah,
story. But yeah, like if you're sick, if you're injured, or you're just extra tired, right? Don't don't worry about missing a workout, even a few days, right? You're not going to be a worse athlete. Yeah, if you miss
mhm,
like 4 or 5 days, it might take a couple days to get back in the groove, but you didn't lose a ton of progress over those 5 days, and
yeah.
that's key for sure. And there's a
I think I definitely learned that in high school as well. Oh,
yeah.
it was glitching.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, definitely, yeah. Learning that over high school is good, but I think, as a runner and even just any high level athlete, one thing I always say is like, if you don't give your body a break, your body will force you to take a break. And have you experienced that at all with like overtraining and not knowing when to stop, or are you pretty good at listening to your body?
Yeah, I guess I'd say I'm pretty good.
Okay,
I've never
that's good.
really had a big injury, so I
That's
guess that's
fortunate. Yeah.
that would say if you're pushing yourself too hard. So sleep is definitely very important in that aspect.
Hmm.
I love I guess I'm a night person, I would say, but I do like my mornings when I get to sleep in, so that's
Okay.
big.
Good, good. That's actually be one of my questions later. But actually, so another good question I have now for you. This obviously comes as a runner, a female athlete, and an influencer who posts about food a lot. Have you ever had someone comment on the way you eat, like obviously like negative comments? And if so, how did you respond?
I feel like I've been very fortunate not to receive many hate comments. I really can't. The meanest thing I can think that someone has said to me is that I was doing a food video and I was like breaking something apart and my nails weren't done, and someone said, "You should
Oh,
get your nails fixed or something." I was like, "All
that's
right."
not bad. Yeah.
But that's only online. I feel like in person, I haven't really had anything awful. The only thing that really comes to mind is I'm the only runner in my family.
Hmm.
And so I guess on family vacations, like in the summer, especially in the summers when we're doing more high mileage and so extra snacky, and people like sometimes my family members, like not in a rude way, but they'll be like, more snacks, or like more, you're going back for seconds, or she's always eating or something like that, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm a hungry girl, and I'm just kind of smile and
Okay. That's good.
yeah,
So you don't let it get to you, or you haven't let it get to you.
yeah,
Okay.
just kind of embrace it and be like, yeah,
Okay.
i like I like eating.
No, all right, no, that's really good, and I think that's a really positive message because I've had several clients like bring this up to me, and I'm sure there's even more people listening that have dealt with this as far as going out to eat or eating snacks, and someone will be like, "Wow, I can't believe you're eating that," or "I can't believe you're eating that much," and it's deterred people from eating the full portion or having that extra snack. And I always tell them, you're an elite level athlete. You're very unique compared to the average person. You do need to be eating a lot. And I always say, as you know, sometimes they feel it as a hurtful comment, but I say, take it as a compliment. Take it as, yeah, you're eating a lot because you need to be eating a lot. It's a good thing. Like, if someone's not commenting on the way you eat, or if the way you eat doesn't stand out to the rest of your family, that's when you're doing something wrong. So yeah, so the fact that like wow you're always snacking or wow you're eating a lot, no, that means you're doing the right thing. And I think so. What you said, I think, is a very powerful message, and I think more athletes need to recognize that for sure.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, I just say embrace it.
good, good. All right, cool. So we'll wrap up in a few minutes. Just gotta do the standard rapid fire and then the ending question that we mentioned earlier. So first we'll go with some rapid fire. So chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Okay. And you kind of answered this one before, but morning or night person?
Night person. I
Okay.
wish I was more, but
Yeah. So most athletes are morning people, and I feel like because I'm like I feel like you have to be a morning person, but you push through
yeah.
it. And all right, this one will be interesting as a runner though. But would you rather have a race in the extreme heat, like 80 or 90 degree, or like extreme cold, 30 to 40 degrees?
I guess I would say cold. When
Okay.
it's hot, you just miserable and sweat is dripping and everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just with cold, you usually warm up. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, cold.
Yeah, that one I felt like was gonna be interesting as a runner because one, you have indoor track season versus outdoor track season, so they do kind of take care of the elements there. But yeah, it's different because you can't. I mean, you can't really bundle up when you're running, and it's in other sports you could like wear long sleeves and then take them off at halftime or something, but you don't have a halftime. You can't. You can maybe take a jacket off, but not really during a race. So I thought that
Yeah.
was
Some people will start with gloves and then they'll get like really cheap dollar gloves or something, and they'll just like throw them off in the middle of the race.
okay.
That's the only
That's an
instance I
interesting
can
one.
think of. But once you get a mile, it's usually fine.
Yeah, I learned that right when I did a 5K last year on Thanksgiving, and it was like in the 30s, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be so cold, so I wore sweatpants and a sweatshirt and hat and gloves, and like a mile in, I'm like, this was a mistake. I'm trying to roll up my pants, take off my sweatshirt. So this year when
Oh,
we did the turkey trot, I'm like, nope, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and shorts. I don't care. I'm gonna do that. It was 32, 33 degrees. So we get there 30, 40 minutes before it, and I'm cold. I'm like so cold standing there. I'm like, should I have done this? I had a hat and gloves, but like, I'm so cold. Then we started running about a mile, and I'm like, nope, this is the right decision. Like, I remember from last year, yeah, because even now, like, I can't, even when it's in 30s now, I just can't run in pants. And a sweatshirt is even hard to sometimes. It's just, Yeah, it can get difficult. But no, one mistake I've made was like taking my gloves off because I get hot and then my hands get cold.
Yep.
That's the
And
worst.
you can't put them back on because your hands are so cold.
Because the gloves are wet from the sweat. Yeah,
Oh
so you're putting
God.
your
Yeah.
cold hands into wet gloves, and that's the mistake. So, any runners out there, any athlete out there, if it's cold, keep the gloves on the whole time. Because if you take them off, you're not going to put them back on. So,
Exactly.
cool. Awesome. All right. So you've obviously given a lot of great information. But again, as a foodie, as a D1 athlete, this is a big question. What is your go-to pre-race meal?
It's kind of basic, but I'm a big oatmeal person. So oatmeal with banana and peanut butter, and usually like some type of crunch, so like walnuts or maybe in some granola, pumpkin seeds, something like that.
Okay.
Honey drizzle, cinnamon. It works every time. So
Hey, it works. Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't call that too basic. You got a lot of good stuff in there. And oatmeal's great, especially if you have a few hours to digest it because it's slower reducing carbs. Oatmeal is actually they found is actually a really good pre-race meal to do. So, see,
yeah,
of course, you picked the perfect food.
yeah. If
Um,
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
exactly. There you go. There you go. Awesome. All right. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on the show. I know you. I knew you'd have a lot of valuable insight to share with everyone. Is there anything else that you want to add or say about yourself that anyone would like to hear?
Um, no, I think we kind of covered all the bases. Thanks for letting me come on.
Of
And
course.
I've been following your account since I was back in high school. So your tips have helped me a bunch.
Of
So
course,
thank you as
and
well.
you've helped my account so much as I've told you before, right? Every time you share my post or your story, I'm like I get like 20, 30, 40 followers in a day.
Oh, cool.
And it's like so like actually every time I'll check my follower count. I'm like, wow, it jumped up a lot today. I'll check my notifications. I'm like, yep, Makenzie shared my post.
Oh.
So
I'll like screenshot. I'm like, oh, I need to repost this one later because
yeah.
it's just tips.
Well,
So
no, I appreciate that a lot. And speaking of that, your account obviously is so great. I think it's a very valuable resource for a lot of runners and really any athlete out there. So if you just want to kind of share your Instagram and TikTok handles so people can follow you,
it's at Good Food, Good Run for everything.
yeah, pretty simple. I'll put it in the description of the episodes here so you guys can easily copy and paste that into it. But again, thank you, Makenzie, for coming on the episode. I appreciate it. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.